Welcome, welcome everyone to Daphne. Today we'll be discussing physical abuse and the toll that it has on men and women in this country. About 2 million people in the United States alone experience physical abuse, men and women. 1 out of every 3 women are abused, not by strangers, but by people that they know that are, and they're abused, they're raped, and no one is, and they're just, I gotta cut that part out. So, and with men, it's 1 out of 4 men are being abused and raped, and they're doing it silently. But today is the day to speak out. Today is the day to be free. If you are experiencing any type of physical, mental, or any type of abuse, today is the day to set yourself free from that. Do not stay in that situation. Cry out for help. There are places that you can go to receive help. You are not alone. And you're not alone. You can go to a local church, the police department, and if you don't feel safe at the police department, just go somewhere, anywhere, and say, I need help. Please help me. And someone is going to help you. Ask God, Lord, lead me to who's going to help me get out this situation. And He will hear your cry. It's just so important for you to hear Him. You have to listen to God answering your prayer, because He will answer. He will answer. Whatever you ask of Him, He will answer. You have to believe that. He does not want you in the situation that you're in right now. If you are in a situation where you are being abused, get out. Get out. So today I have a guest. Her name is Anquinette. Such a beautiful woman of God. And she's going to talk about her experience her experience with physical abuse and how she got out of it. And so welcome to the show, Miss Anquinette.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your situation.
Well, I was dating someone, and it was okay. It starts off, and it's okay. It's good, and it started off that I met my first husband, and it's supposed to be a pen pal, and supposed to have been a pen pal, and he told me why he was in there from someone else, previous relationship.
Now, when you said pen pal, are you talking about jail?
Yes.
Okay, so your ex-husband was in jail, and you were his pen pal.
Yep.
He was in prison. And so, and you met him in prison?
Yes, I met him through a mutual friend.
Okay.
Another friend, she was talking to a friend of his in there, and her nephew was in there, and so it started off, just to talk, just pen pal, someone to talk to. And so he was in there previously from that. I didn't get the full gist at first, and then he explained it to me, and I'm like, okay. And so
so let me just understand. So he was in prison for beating someone.
Yes.
But you didn't know, and he explained it?
Yeah, he explained it, but not completely like that. He made it, it was an accident and this and that. So it was just like, okay. And so when he got out and his PO came to the house, before him getting out, I got the more gist of it. So, and stuff. So it was just like, okay, well, maybe it'll be different, starting over again. And so he got out and came home, and it was okay, and he has a drinking problem. And so he started drinking, and he was starting to be, abusive. Like when he was in there, we would have conversation over the phone, and he'll get angry, he'll say stuff. So I kind of like, okay, he's just angry, he's just upset, and not really thinking nothing of it. So he got out and came home, and it was okay at first. And he started drinking, and then that's when the abuse really kind of started, So it was hard. It was really difficult. It would happen around my older kids. So I ended up getting pregnant. Why? He was in there, and so, I felt bad. So, being him coming out and dealing with a child that wasn't his, and so I felt bad. And shortly after he got out, that child was at home and passed. And so,
oh, I'm sorry.
It was just tough. So that's when the abuse seemed to get worse. And he started back drinking.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, while he was with you, did he go back to jail?
Because of me, after that, because, of him abusing me, again. And so he was on probation and stuff at that time.
Okay.
And
so while he was in, you got pregnant?
Yes.
By somebody else?
Yes.
And so you felt guilty from that?
Yes.
And then he became even more abusive towards you?
Yeah.
But before that, was there anything that triggered besides the alcohol, was there something that would trigger him?
It was more when he was drinking. He would get angry when he's not. It's a couple of times that when he was in, and like, how can you put it? Not like in jail, they had a Stillwater, like a
workhouse.
Yeah, kind of, but it was on Stillwater ground still. They had a little bit more freedom before they completely get out. And so when I told him, the day that I told him, went to see him and told him that I was pregnant. And so, he kind of grabbed me, and I kind of was like, okay, didn't really think nothing of it. And he wasn't drinking, of course. So I'm like, okay, and when he was in there, we would get into it. He would say mean stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just out of anger. So he would say nasty, mean stuff. So it kind of, started then. But I know me, I have a mouth too. So I'm thinking, okay, that's just, we're just into it. And this is difficult, because of, this is just difficult because of, the situation and stuff. So I just would blow it off until he actually came home.
Okay.
And that's when it got, after I lost my child, it got more, got more physical, and he started drinking more and doing other stuff.
Now, didn't he have opportunity to go to like counseling? They didn't provide counseling or Alcohol Anonymous or anything?
He had did that stuff while he was inside of there, the AA and all that treatment and stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, he's doing that. It's gonna get better, and he's gonna get better. And it always starts off, they're okay, they're sweet, and it's like a time bomb, So I would say to him, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because that's how he was. He's okay, and when he would be drinking, I would have to watch what I'm saying, because he would take it in the wrong way, or he would throw me having kids and stuff on him, or it's just any little thing would set him off.
So why did you stay with him?
First marriage, young, just, feeling guilty and feeling bad, and was like, it's something that I'm doing wrong. And he would apologize and everything, and I was like, okay. And
so let me ask you this. So basically, you stayed out of guilt because you cheated. Mm-hmm. And so you felt like, okay, a part of you felt like you deserved some of what you were going through because you cheated on him.
Yes.
And so, now that's not true.
No.
That's not true at all. You didn't deserve nothing that you went through.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you didn't. No. Okay, so the other were you going to church? Did you go to church then?
We had started going to church together, and so, you know, I thought things was gonna get better, and I would be like, God, okay, this is gonna be okay. It's gonna get better. And so I was just like, okay, we're gonna be okay. And I know that God didn't leave me. Amen. You know, it was just time for me to, enough is enough, you know, and I couldn't put up with no more, and I have, you know, daughters, you know, and I didn't want them to keep feeling like this is okay.
Right.
So it was hard because I would leave and go back, you know, and I felt like, okay, God, you know, this is my first marriage, I'm young, and, you know, help me, because I want my marriage to work from, you know, seeing my mom and dad, and so I didn't want that, you know, I wanted it to make it work.
So are you saying your mom and dad aren't together?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I have the experience. I understand how you feel with my first, because I'm currently in my second marriage. My second and my only, you know, I'm not going to be with anybody else. Jonathan. Just you, baby.
Amen.
But I understand, because my first marriage, you know, I felt like, even though I knew there was something wasn't right, mm-hmm. but it's that feeling that I got to make it work. Mm-hmm. You don't want to fail. You feel like such a failure because, you know, I was already a teenage mom. Mm-hmm. And so I'm already making all these bad decisions, you know, one decision after the next. Yeah. And I got to get something right, you know, and it's got to be this marriage. I want to tooth and nail. He called me all kinds of names. Mm-hmm. He made the mistake of calling me outside my name once. He didn't do that again because I kind of swung on him. I don't recommend it.
Amen. Amen.
I do. No, I don't. And so he just did it over the phone. After that, he was just talking mess over the phone, right? And it really hurt me, you know, because here I am trying to make this relationship work, and then he started playing with my self-esteem. Like, nobody's gonna want you. Look at you. Who's gonna want you? You know, you don't have. It was almost like The Color Purple. You ain't got nothing. You were black. You woman. You know, right? It was like it was just the way he was like taught me, and just these like little jabs. And and after you hear it for so long, you start to believe it. You know, but my God is such a good God.
Yes, He is.
My God is such a good God. He separated us. He and He had me not just separate me. Because he went away to school, and then he never shared his information, right? And I'm a hound dog. I could find you. Don't hide. Don't even think you can hide from me. I will find. And this before the internet was like really prevalent. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I would find you, and I found him. But it was just. It was. I didn't want it. It was that God had. The time that it took me to find him, that desire that I started during that journey. I started to love myself. You know, I started having these affirmations. I'm sexy. You know,
right.
And that was. I mean, I had said it so often. I had people saying it about me. You know, I started feeling. I was back to my old self, confident, loving myself. You know, it was just so awesome. What I was, you know, that affirmation that I gave myself. You know, and I realized, okay, I don't need him. I could do so much better. And less than a year later, or about a year later, I met my husband. Yes. And so it's been 13 years that I've been with my husband, almost 13 and a half. And he's been a blessing. It's almost like you got to let go of what's not good for you. Yes. Stop trying to hold on to things because you think that I can't do any better.
Yep. Yes.
But we can.
Yes.
We can. So when you decided to leave him, where did you go?
Well, I called the police because he was on probation at that time, and he went back to jail, and so I continued on, and we still were married, and so I would do me, and like, okay, I would go to, get ready to file, and I would go to get ready to file, and I would be like, and start feeling bad, okay? And then he would somehow contact me, or write me a letter, I'm sorry, and this and that. And so I'm like, okay. And I went back again. This time I had gotten pregnant for the last time, my 15-year-old. And so in the process of me and him getting back together, so it was like, okay, I thought, my 15-year-old, now 15-year-old, was my husband's, because in the process, and then I found out she wasn't. So we moved to Milwaukee. I moved out of state with him, and he was convinced me, it's going to get better this time, and, new start away from everybody, and so I did. And once again, because, his sister was down there, so once again, the drinking started. My 15-year-old was a baby, and he had gotten drunk.
It's okay. It is okay.
And
it's okay. Take your time. I want to fight for you.
and prior to me being pregnant, my little sister, who is now 30, was with me in Milwaukee. And so him and her had got into it because, she's trying to defend me and stuff. And so my 15-year-old, she had to be in the hospital because I was pregnant. So she had to be in the hospital after she was born for about a month. So she came home, and, he drinking and acting crazy, and so I told him to leave. So he comes back, me and my children, me and my older kids and my baby, we're sitting there watching TV. He busts a little side window, and my now son, who's 23, was sitting right there, and the glass flew. So I just instantly just jumped and, grabbed my kids. And so I'm just like, this is crazy. And so in the process, he kicks my door in. I'm shoveling my kids in the room. And so he kicked my front door in after he busted out my window. And so I pushed my kids in the room and put the baby in the room. And I told them, y'all sit right here. And so I'm calling the police like, I wouldn't advise somebody to do this. Y'all better come here and get him before something bad happens to him. Because I had it. So.
Keep going. Go ahead.
So, I left Milwaukee. And
did the police get there in time?
Yeah, they came. The police came and arrested him. And
what did you do?
I pressed charges and told them, that.
Did you fight back?
Yeah, when he came in, we got into it. When he came in before the police came, and he lunged at me and was like, you're not going to be with anybody if I can't have you. And he had his hand around my neck. And so I'm fighting, I'm swinging, and I'm still, trying to make sure, my older kids don't come out the room. And so my son did to defend me. And I seen that, and I seen my son trying to defend me, and I'm trying to fight and keep him away from, he wouldn't get hurt.
Yes.
So in the process, the police had, they had came and arrested him, and while they had him, a week later, I left Milwaukee and came back to Minnesota, and it was just like, I was like, this is it. You know, I felt like this was it. And so, once again, you know, 6, 7 months passed, haven't talked to him, and he contacts me, and I'm just like, So,
Yes.
you know, it was just like, it was tiresome, you know. It was tiresome, and I just thank God that, you know, I went back one more time, but after that I was like, this is enough. You know, I left and moved with him one more time, and, you know, just continuous to not feel like I was failing, you know, not failing because I felt bad, because me and my older kid's dad wasn't together. And so, you know, I wanted to
give your kids a family.
Give my kids still a family, you know, because he was a good man. It's just the abuse. So
okay, I'm sorry. Let me just clarify. He's a good man. He's just the abuse. No, he is not. He is, but
it's the
that I think that is the reason why so many people stay in abusive relationships, because they remember that 10% of the time when they're sweet and they're loving and they take the kids to the movies, but you have to think of the lifetime effect that abuse has on the children in the end. You know, it's better for them not to witness abuse than for them to see abuse all the time, because then you start to pick up those behaviors. And so, no, abuse is never good. It's never acceptable. No, it isn't. But that is our time. You know, once again, if you are in an abusive relationship, there is no reason to stay in it. Leaving an abusive relationship, you have not failed. You have not failed. You are doing the best you can for you and your children. And if you don't have any kids, you're doing good for you and your future children and the people around you who are watching you, because you are an example to those around you. Some people are seeing you going through that abuse and think, well, I saw her do it. If she can do it and he's buying her diamonds and taking her out, then I can do it. You know, it's worth it. No, it's not. Your dignity is not worth it. Don't go through it. It's not worth it. Love yourself. Love yourself. See yourself worthy. God sees you worthy. You are so much more than that. But that's our time today. I love you. God loves you. One more thing. 1 John 4:18 says, perfect love casts out all fear. Cast out all fear. If you're afraid, you don't need to be afraid, because God's love will carry you through whatever situation you're in right now. Perfect love casts out all fear. God has got you. He does. Thank you for your time. I really enjoyed spending my time with you all. Goodbye.